Hey everyone, Diane Joaquin, Business Development with Hancock Mortgage. I'm super excited to be here with Jonathan Fowler. He has agreed to let me pick his brain with some questions with Hancock Mortgage.
Yes, ma'am.
So, Johnny, why should someone leave their current company and come work with Hancock Mortgage?
First of all, they should not leave their current company to come work for Hancock Mortgage. That's primary. If they're happy where they're at and their current company is helping them, they should stay exactly where they're at. Changing is a pain. It's hard. It's a hard move. But the people who are not getting what they're supposed to get, those are the people that need to look at changing. If they're a purchase money loan officer, if they're a purchase money branch, they're not getting the support, which most people aren't. In the reality of the picture, most people are not getting the support that they need. They're being told no. They have an antiquated compliance manager that tells them no. There's no reasoning. They don't have manual underwriting. They don't have the tools that they need. Those are the people that should look for a change. And if they're a purchase money person, then they should look for a change coming to us. But if they're happy and if they're doing good business, they should not change. Change is a pain. It will always be a pain. With the NMLS systems in place that we have today, it is not an easy move. It will never be an easy move. But sometimes that move is worth it just to get the sanity that you need on a daily basis. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Thank you, Johnny. So tell me, Johnny, Hancock Mortgage Partners loves technology. What current technology do they have in place to support their branch managers and loan officers?
Anything and everything. But before we get to the answer on that one, you've got to realize we're different than most mortgage companies. So where most mortgage companies have outside services, or they're buying software from other companies or renting software, we actually develop everything ourselves internally. So we have a team of about a dozen millennials that's all they do all day long is either program or they're working on technology. And we come up with the ideas, but most of the ideas we come up with come directly from the branches and loan officers. So some of the things we're working on now as far as technology, we've got a AAU hub. It's absolutely amazing. One of the problems with this business is most loan officers think in a 30-day increment, which is a horrible business to be in. There's a lot of good coaches out there that teach you to use systems to help you remember that customer as time goes by. AAU Hub, it stands for All About You. What it does is it helps the loan officer gain that information right from the beginning of who their customer is. Not only who the customer is, not only who the borrower is, who the co-borrower is, but who their children are, who their family is, when their wedding anniversary is, things like that, things that are truly important to everyone. We just don't think about it. It's not on any typical LOS system. So this automated system helps us, helps our loan originators, helps our loan officers all across the country. Other things that we're working on. Well, we're a huge advocate of Facebook ads. We do anywhere from $25,000 to $50,000 a month in Facebook advertising. Now, when you do that, you're bringing in a tremendous amount of purchase money leads. First thing we do is we make all of these purchase money leads come in, and it's a double opt-in. So we don't get a whole lot of Richard Nixons and Jimmy Carters. The people who are actually getting to us are people who are telling you, I truly want to buy a house. I truly want to live in a specific area. So it makes it a much better, much cleaner lead. But then the problem is, if you think about it, we're bringing in about 3,000 leads a month using this system. You have to have a top-of-the-line technology system that not only distributes these leads, but that follows up on these leads, that does nothing but keep up with what it is, because 3,000 this month is 6,000 the next month, is 9,000 the next month, ends up being about 40,000 a year. So if you don't have systems in place, and you can't go buy this off the shelf, we have to have our own programmers that put this together for the guys in the field so they can actually do their job better. If it's not for those guys in the field bringing in the revenue, there's no need for any of us.
Wow, that's amazing. Thanks, Johnny. Here's a question for you. What does it mean to Hancock Mortgage to be named in the top 40 mortgage companies to work for in the National Mortgage Professionals magazine?
It means everything, to tell you the truth. But I think it means something different for us than it means for a lot of people. For a lot of people, a lot of companies that are in that top 40, and I think this is either our third or fourth year in a row to be named that by National Mortgage Professional, which is an incredible magazine. But what it means to us is completely different. A lot of people take that honor and they think it's because of the company. They think it's because of what they've built internally that make it the greatest company to work for, in the top 40 to work for, any of those things. Our stance is completely different. We believe that we're in that top 40 because of the people that work here, the people who have chosen Hancock to make their home. Because if it wasn't for those guys, there's no room for any of us. And we couldn't underwrite and close loans in 10, 12, 13 days if it wasn't for the originator. We could not close loans in 10, 12, 13 days if it wasn't for the processor, if it wasn't for the branch manager, if it wasn't for the people who chose to come here. They made us the top 40. We did absolutely nothing but what they needed us to do. They're the ones who dictated that made us be in the top 40. That's where the difference is between most of the companies and Hancock Mortgage Partners.
So tell us, how much growth has Hancock Mortgage Partners seen over the last few years?
Because of our incredible branches, because of the loan officers, because of the people who have chosen to come here and be part of it, we're about a 30% growth rate year over year for the past 4 years running. I see that being consistent and maybe a little bit more in the 2018, 2019, going into the 2020 mark. But with most companies, when you hit that certain point, when you hit the first time you hit $500 million in a year, the first time you hit $1 billion in a year, you'll see a substantial growth pattern from that point forward. We're sitting at that point now. We're sitting at the point to where we have done exactly what our customer has asked us to do. We have put together a company that makes it impossible for loans not to close faster than anywhere else. And I see a continuation in a 30% plus growth pattern year over year for the future.
What basic requirements would someone need to open and run a branch with Hancock Mortgage Partners?
FHA is the primary factor in all of this. FHA requires that you have a minimum of 3 years single-family dwelling mortgage business history to run an FHA authorized branch. And what that means is every branch has their own FHA ID number. They pull their own case numbers and so forth. So our minimum requirement is that. Now, if I took a guess and I just ventured, I would say most of our guys have somewhere in the 5 to 7 year range of history. They do purchase money. That's one of the big ones. We're not a refi shop. We refi and take care of our own customers. We just don't make it a practice to do the churn and burn, 40, 50 refis a month out of one thing. We care about our purchase money guys. Our guys know how to operate a P&L. They know how to stay within cost confinements. They know how to spend marketing dollars. They truly are people who, if they had the net worth or they wanted to tie up the net worth, could truly open up their own company. But what they don't want, nobody ever got in this mortgage business to say, my God, I can hardly wait to do payroll. There's nothing like doing call reports every quarter. That's why I want to be in the mortgage business. So most people who were in the mortgage business got in the mortgage business to originate. That's what they want to do. They like the interaction with customers. That's what they want to do. They don't want to do the minutia of picking out the best insurance company, messing with all of the licensing garbage that you have to do. They don't want to write paychecks. They don't want to worry about the compliance issues that are greater than at a branch level. So if I had to tell you the perfect guy, it would be somewhere in the 3 to 7 year range in the business. Purchase money guy, somebody who knows their market, somebody who knows what their market needs, not what somebody in an ivory tower tells them their market needs. And it's somebody who really wants that control, but needs the support of a much larger, much more liquid company behind them.
So, Johnny, I always hear you talk about Hancock Mortgage being a family. Tell me, what processes do you have in place to make this happen?
It's a great question. It's probably one of the best questions I've ever been asked. So one of the things that makes Hancock so different, and it's kind of funny, I've got a story about this. I was talking to a guy that works at a different company, somewhat of a competitor. He is in the Pacific Northwest. And he is absolutely amazing. He brings something new to the table every day for his company. Now get this, his company has never asked him to speak at any event, but other companies pay him to speak at events. His company's never asked him to be part of what it is that he brings together. And this guy is one of the names in our business. If I said his name, it would almost be like a Brian Stevens, a Frank Garay, a Barry Habib, one of those kind of names. So here's where we're different. This is the answer to your question. We do nothing without including our branch managers. So what that means, about 3 times a year, I bring in anywhere from 15 to 30 branch managers on my dime every year, 3 times a year, to have a branch manager advisory meeting. And what that means is, so there are 3 of us that basically run the helm of the company, and we've got 30 people that are theoretically could be against us if they wanted to. So we open up that meeting by saying, what is it that I'm not doing right? What is it that I could do better? And what is it that I could do to make your life better? And we do this for 2.5, 3 days. So that's one thing. But on top of that, we have advisory boards. All of our branch managers are part of advisory boards. So whether it be the marketing advisory board, the onboarding advisory board, whether it's me traveling to all of the branches, doing social media classes, doing anything, grand openings, whatever it is, on a daily basis, I dare anybody that's watching this to call any one of my branches and ask them, is this a family type atmosphere? When you're part of Hancock, do you truly feel like what the guy on the camera says? And I dare you to do that. Ask him.
So based on the interview today, everything at Hancock Mortgage has always held true. My name is Diane Joaquin with Hancock Mortgage. I look forward to talking to you. If you feel that you qualify to join our team, please give me a call, and I'd love to speak with you soon.